Howdy folks, welcome to the next update. Sorry it's been a while, I've been pretty busy. I think this is one a lot of people have been looking forward to, which is projectile or ranged attacks. So let's go through the process of adding them. Using our same basic attack script from before, we now have an option for a projectile attack type. Let's just call this shoot. We can set an animation, we can set the location you need to be in order to use that attack. We can give it a button. We can give it a time between projectile shooting. So let's say we can shoot every 3/4 of a second. Projectiles have a damage type. Let's go with physical and give it a damage of 1. And then they have a prefab that's instantiated when you shoot them. So I've created a sample prefab over here. Let's drop that on. So what's in the prefab? Basically it has one of these projectile components and it has a projectile hitbox. You don't have to use this setup. It will instantiate any prefab you put in there. So you could create your own prefabs that don't use this pattern. But the projectile basically wraps up a lot of common projectile behavior. So for example, it's got a speed, it's got a hitbox, it's got a delay, which is how long between hitting something before the game object gets destroyed, and it's got some boxes whether you want to destroy when you hit an enemy or destroy when you hit scenery. So you could use that, for example, to have bullets that just keep passing through multiple enemies by unticking the enemy hitbox. We'll just leave it as it is for now. So that's all we need to do to get a basic projectile going. Let's hit play. Hit the right button, and we've got a projectile. If we, I don't think I can reach him from there, but if we aim well enough, I'll just use the ladder. We can kill the guy. Of course, that projectile looks pretty basic, so let's add a few little effects using the event response system. So I've got a cartoon effects explosion, which I'm going to drop on to the object. That's from the asset store package cartoon effects. There's various volumes, but all of them are very good. And then I'm going to use an event responder to plug that in. So I'll drop an event responder on the projectile. It's going to be sent an event from the projectile, and the event is projectile destroyed. Because it's a damage event, we could filter it based on the damage type, but for now we'll apply damage type none, which means apply to all events. And then we're going to add an action to do something in response to this. So the action will be play particles. And which particles are we going to play? We're going to play those ones. No delay necessary. But we will add a destroy delay to the simple projectile so it doesn't destroy straight away. So hit apply, get rid of that one from the scene, press play, and we can shoot and we get a boom. Now you'll notice that the sprite is staying there. We can fix that with the event system as well. So again, let's get that prefab, drop it into our scene for easy editing. We're going to add another action, and we're going to disable a behavior. And the behavior we want to disable is the sprite behavior from this sprite here. Now, the editor doesn't make this super easy to do, so let's lock this inspector, and we'll just quickly add another inspector. Go to the bomb object, find the sprite renderer, drag it onto our behavior box. Now we can close this inspector. We can apply that to the prefab and unlock the inspector. And now when we fire, we'll notice the sprite disappears straight away. So we probably don't need that projectile sitting in the screen. You can also have more than one attack. So let's add another one. Another projectile. Let's call this one grenade. Give it a different button, delay, some damage. And we'll use this grenade projectile I've created. Similar setup. This time it's using grenade projectile script, which extends projectile. Basically, it adds a little bit of a delay between hitting something and exploding. The hitbox is not alive until the object actually triggers. And it's got a rigid body on it with gravity being applied. So it will actually fly up and down, kind of like a grenade. So back to our character, just make sure we've got everything applied. So we probably want to change the damage type to one of the actual damage types, not none. But other than that, it looks like it's okay. Now you will notice I'm still using idle animation here. I don't have any grenade throwing animations for this little character. Maybe Kenny will just release them eventually. So let's hit play. And now when we press the grenade button, we get a little grenade and you'll see it triggers after it hits stuff. Still kills the enemy. And you can probably drop it down the little gaps and things like that. One other thing is how you aim your projectile. So by default, it just fires in the direction you are facing. If you're facing forward, it fires in the direction you were last facing. But there's a script called Projectile Aimer, which you can drop on your character. And lets you change how you aim your projectiles. There's a couple of built-in types, which is mouse and 8-way. So 8-way is the kind of retro style where you can shoot up diagonally, left and up, left, right, down, etc. But you can extend this projectile aimer class to use any kind of aiming you want. For now, we'll just leave it on mouse aiming. And if we hit play, I might just go stand on this platform, and when we shoot, we can see the projectiles shooting in the direction of our mouse. Should work for the grenade as well, though you could set it up to have different. Sorry, I'm running out of hands to do everything I want to do. Anyway, you get the idea.